おはようございます。皆さん、今日はバツイを湖プレゼントに行きます。行きましょう。Okay, not the right size, but ate the spinnerbait. Pretty little guy. Right where he was supposed to be. All right. Just another one. Small little guy.
Alright guys, that's going to be it for me today. It was kind of a grind to actually try and figure out where some of those bigger fish were today. It seems like the lake's been off. The last time we were out here, we only caught one decent sized fish. Other than that, it was just like a lot of small fish. So it's been kind of funky, and we kind of got the same thing today. But, you know, we were still able to come out here and catch a couple fish on actually 3 different baits. So I'm going to run through the setups I was fishing today, and then I'm also going to be talking about kind of the game plan that I had kind of going in today and what I learned from fishing early fall right now. So let's get right into it. So the first rod we're going to be talking about is the spinnerbait rod, this setup that I was fishing, the Megabass. This is just the SV3 spinnerbait, the double willow. And this bait, and the past like 3 trips, we've been absolutely jacking fish on this bait. And again, today they preferred the spinnerbait over both the skinny dipper and the jerkbait. For some odd reason, it seems like the fish really want something that's got blades or super flashy. So luckily enough, they really ate the spinnerbait for the past couple of trips. And today it was pretty much the same thing. Not the same size of caliber of fish I was catching before, but it definitely seemed like they wanted this bait over the other baits that we were fishing today. The rod is that brand new Daiwa Steez AGS rod. This is the power pitch rod. It's a 7'2" heavy rod. It throws the spinnerbait perfectly. It's got just enough tip up here in the front to absorb the shock of fishing a spinnerbait, but it's got the backbone down here to drive that hook home into those fish, so you're gonna lose a lot less fish with a rod like this. Amazing rod. Super lightweight, sensitive as can be. These new Daiwa rods, both me and Ben, we agree that these rods are absolutely fantastic rods, and we just love them now. The reel is just a Shimano Chronarch 150 HG, and then paired up with the whole setup, we have 16-pound Sunline FC Sniper. Absolutely perfect setup to be fishing the spinnerbaits in like that ½ ounce range. Throws it and works it perfectly. I love this setup for fishing the spinnerbaits. The other setup we were fishing today was the utility player Daiwa Steez AGS rod, and this was on the skinny dipper. This rod is the 7'3". It's a medium heavy rod, so it's going to be a little bit softer because when you're fishing this bait, it's not exposed like it is on a spinnerbait. So you kind of have to actually let the fish kind of eat it a little bit longer. And with that, the rod is a lot more parabolic. It's got more of a bend, and it's going to load and eat that absorption a lot better, especially in a medium heavy. And what we're doing with the skinny dipper is we're just burning this thing. So you want that rod to load up just a little bit so it can absorb that bite, because those fish are coming up, they're hitting it as fast as you're reeling and you're burning it in. So you want that rod to load up, so when you do get that bite, it doesn't pull the bait out of the fish's mouth and you're able to get a hook in them. Same exact reel, Shimano Chronarch 150, 16-pound Sunline FC Sniper. And then the bait of choice, the Reaction Innovation Skinny Dipper. If you guys haven't seen the mod, I'll leave a link to it up here. But this is pretty much how it's set up. It's got like a little size 6 red treble hook in the back. It's not really made to be like a stinger. It's just there to get some type of flash, some type of reaction. And of course, you can sometimes hook them just on this. But for the most part today, they were eating just the entire bait, and I was getting them on the actual main hook. So that's that setup. And then the one jerkbait fish that we caught today came on. This is the Megabass Levante. This is the jerkbait special, and it's a fantastic jerkbait rod. It fishes the 110 series of baits really well. Unfortunately today, it just did not seem like the fish wanted a darting side-to-side action bait. It seems like the fish were really more keyed in on something that just tracked true and was fished relatively fast and shallow. Some odd reason we were only able to catch that one little dinker on the jerkbait, but I think in the next month or so, when the water really starts to cool down, the fish will start eating a jerkbait pretty well. But 110+1, this is just a Daiwa Tatula Elite. And then I've got 10-pound fluorocarbon on that, and that was basically just that setup. So So yeah, that was basically the setups that we were fishing today. It was kind of a grind, but we were still able to get some bites throughout the entire day, which is, you know, works for me. It's better than being at work right now. But my game plan kind of going into today was, this morning it was the coldest night / morning we've had all year at 52 degrees. So a lot of people say, and I've kind of experienced it, where that first cold night, those fish will move up and start to feed. We definitely caught a lot of fish shallow today. It did seem like they were starting to move back from the mouth of some of those creek channels, kind of towards the middle to backish end. Those skinny dipper fish we were catching were in the far back of a cut, and that's kind of the first sign that I've seen in about 2 weeks of fishing out here, that it seems like they're moving kind of towards the very backs of some of these creeks. They're following bait, and that's kind of the fall transition. What happens is a lot of that summertime bait is out on some of the main lake areas, but once the water starts to cool, that bait fish will move to the backs of these cuts and creeks, and that's where you can find these fish that will kind of be pelagic and follow those bait fish into the backs of some of those creeks. And depending on where the transition is and when it's happening, you can either catch them at the mouth of some of these creeks, the middle, or at the very back of them. Today, it seemed like a lot of those fish were like right in the middle. It didn't seem like the bait was all the way in the back just yet, but it seemed like once the water starts cooling down, we'll start catching a lot more fish further back into some of these creeks. So that's kind of the idea today. I just wish we would have caught some bigger ones. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any other questions about kind of the setups or how we were fishing today, leave a comment down below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.